Moving on to a couple guys where it comes to extension. So they will be on the Sabres next season, but specifically for one player, definitely want to get him locked up. Another player I would say is right behind him. First up, Alex Tuch. Looking at his possible extension numbers from AFP Analytics here, um, they have him at $8.5 million on a 7-year deal. What do you make of that projection for Alex Tuch?
I mean, I think he's definitely worth it, especially for a team like the Sabres. I guess a lot of it depends on what they do this season, but I mean, this is a contract I would obviously sign this offseason if you could. But yeah, I mean, he's just if you lose him, like you don't really have much in the system that could really come close to replacing him. Uh, even production wise and even like skill set wise, Sabres just have nobody like that. And I doubt they'd be able to acquire anybody like that in a trade either. Like it did take a guy like Jack Eichel to get a piece like Alex Tuch coming back in a trade. So, so I mean, that's just a guy that just every aspect of him. He's someone that you have to bring back, no matter the cost. I think if you want to be serious about winning both this, I mean, really, it wouldn't matter for this upcoming season because he's signed, but I do think he's someone you want locked up long term. But for a guy like Tuck, I'm probably thinking a lot about this season. Like if this season goes south, is Buffalo a place he wants to be long term? Because we've seen like how the Sabres kind of let the players dictate where they go, even if they're under team control. So, what's stopping Dahlin and Tage from asking out this offseason if things go south and then Tuck's stuck long term in a market like Buffalo? Like, sure, he could be moved, but if he signs a big, lengthy contract and has a down year next year, that's going to be a tougher contract to move.
Definitely. What is the max that you would be willing to pay per year for Alex Tuch services?
I definitely, I consider going the $9 million range because I think the salary cap's going up so much over the next few seasons. And it's pretty set in stone. The only reason why we had a salary cap kind of stay flat was because of a global pandemic. This is a lot different where we pretty much know the cap will be increasing at a pretty steady rate. So yeah, $9 million for a winger like him really isn't too crazy. And Sabres do have to pay kind of the desperation tax here. Like they're not a winning team. And they desperately need to keep a guy like Tuck on board. It's kind of similar to when they gave Jeff Skinner that contract. Like they weren't a winning team, but they had no scoring wingers in the system, and they needed to keep a guy like Skinner on board. So you have to overpay a little bit.
He's definitely someone that a lot of fans will be very, very upset if he leaves.
Yeah,
Yes, Darlene, yes, Thompson, sure, but
yeah. With
Tuck is
Tuck's Mister
right up there.
Saber,
Yes,
he's Mister
exactly.
Saber for a lot of Sabres fans that are left.
Yep, and he's the one that was promoted. He wants to be here, a quote unquote local guy, or grew up a Sabres fan. So yeah, that's I think it's very important on getting him signed, but at the same time, I wouldn't blame him for being like, look, I'm going to play out this season and see how this thing goes. If it goes well, sure, I'll come back. If it doesn't, I'm out of here, guys. I only have one NHL career. I can only do this so long. So that is the story with Alex Tuch. The next person I wanted to talk about is Zach Benson. And here's AFP Analytics again showing that Zach Benson, their projected contract for him would be 7 years, $7.4 million. What do you think about that projection for Zach Benson?
I think it's probably in the range of what he would need to be offered in order to accept that. Just in terms of his production, though, I'd be a little bit worried to offer that right now. Like I'm probably Zach Benson's biggest fan. I think he's a great player. I think he plays the game in a great way, and I think he'll always be a plus impact player at 5-on-5. But I just need to see more point production from him in order to commit that type of money to him long term. Like I know he's still really young. I know the point production probably will come. But, if it doesn't come and you're paying a winger that's getting like 50 to 60 points a year, 7.4 million. Like I know I guess I said earlier the cap's going up so it won't matter, but I don't think Benson's someone you necessarily have to rush on with term. And I'd probably wait to see how this season plays out before offering him a contract, because I do think if his point totals go up this season, I'd feel a lot more comfortable offering him a lot of term and a lot of money and just getting that contract done. But if his point totals kind of stay in that like 30 to 50 range, then I don't know if I'd offer him that much term and money right off the bat.
Okay. I would see. I would like it if it was maybe like 7 million flat. 6.5 would be incredible. It's probably too low. Would you do something like 3 years, $5 million, 5.5? Is that something you would do for Benson?
Yeah, I'd probably do something like that. I mean,
Okay.
I do want to sign him to term. I just think I need one productive season from him
Yeah.
in terms of point totals, though, in order to give him that long term deal. Because I think he's a guy like Reinhardt where he's going to be good. Now the question
Yeah.
is just really how good. And obviously with Reinhardt, what he's done with Florida, he's been incredible. But yeah, he's someone where if you're paying him for 7 years, it's not a bad thing. He's a really good player. But I do think this season will be huge in determining his value. And I also don't think he'll sign a contract this offseason either, because I think he realizes how big this upcoming season is in determining his future value, and he'll get the opportunities too to score. Because I mean, we've seen him on the top line with Tage and Kulik to end the season, and we've seen the Sabres get rid of JJ Paterka, replace him with a third, fourth line forward, and we've seen him bring in no one else with top six skills. So he's going to get the chance. So I think he's going to want that chance to try to produce this season.
I mean, I'm definitely rooting for him to produce and get his bag because he's a great player and the kind of personality that you want on the Sabres as well. So there it is on Tuch and Benson's projections. But the one thing I wanted to say before we move on is what do you make of basically, and this is more for Tuch than Benson, but Benson is part of this. What do you make of the Sabres essentially squandering some really good contracts? Alex Tuch might have one of the best contracts in the league when he was under $5 million for so long, and Zach Benson was obviously on his and is still on his ELC. He's not making a lot of money. That's where you should strike when the iron's hot, in a sense. Do you think that was a huge opportunity wasted, or do you think that's just part of the game? What do you think of that, Walt?
Yeah, man, I think it was a pretty wasted opportunity. I also was even more wasted because the Sabres, didn't really even try to spend to the cap during most of the Alex Tuch era. So they really didn't get the value out of that contract by doing that too. And I think if he's a guy who you're not able to sign long term, he's someone who you could traded for an absolute premium, probably even last season or the season before. You could have, really restocked the system with young players, because I mean he's a playoff type player and he's making a very low salary. So any playoff team would have loved to add him to their roster, kind of extend their contention window. Some of that aspect alone, I think it also kind of hurts, because I think a lot of times as Sabres fans, I think we're kind of taught we're caught with tunnel vision sometimes. Where like we have to win now, we have to win the season, we can't trade guys for futures. Like you can still trade guys for futures. Like 5 years from now, when we're looking at our prospect pool and the top guy is like, I don't even know, like some dude in the WHL that's getting like half a point per game, they're gonna be like, yeah, I mean it's probably because we traded away all our good players for win now type guys when we're not really getting the same talent level back. So yeah, I do think that's kind of the interesting thing with a guy like Tuck, because yeah, they didn't spend the cap, so they wasted it there, and they also didn't trade him when the time was perfect. So if they don't make it to the playoffs this season and Tuck doesn't stay with the Sabres, that's another huge wasted opportunity, because they'll probably only be able to trade him at the deadline for a fraction of what he was worth a few seasons ago.